Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. The first message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I want to confess to you that I am a witch. I became a witch when I was still very young, and my grandmother was the one who initiated me into witchcraft when I was only 19. That was when I was initiated into witchcraft, and I want to help other people out there. If you think that you are being bewitched, if you think that you have a spiritual husband or a spiritual wife, you need to listen to my confession. I gave my life to Christ a couple of years ago, even though I used to brag just like what my grandmother used to do when she was still alive, because my grandmother taught me that our God was much more powerful. The God of witchcraft was more powerful than the Christian God. As for my grandmother, she used to say that the Christian God is the God of the white people, and he does not have as much power as our God. So when I was still very young, since we were still in the villages, there were things that were mysterious that my grandmother used to tell me, and I did not even understand that some of the names that she will tell me, they were the names of a goddess who is called Lilith. So in Shona, Lilith is Ririth. So that is what my grandmother used to say. If you will make my grandmother so mad, so much that she wanted you dead, my grandmother used to say that by Ririth you are going to find out. By Ririth you are going to find out, and something bad will happen to that person that she would have cursed. So growing up, I thought that maybe this Ririth was one of our relative, maybe that had passed away a very long time ago, but I did not know that this Lilith was a demon, and the demon of witchcraft. She is the goddess that controls witchcraft. So when I gave my life to Christ, I was sitting down with the pastor. I was at his house after the church service. That was when I started to narrate the same story that I told you, Brother Nashi. I told him everything, what my grandmother used to do, what happened to our chief in our village, how my grandmother killed the chief's children, as well as making the chief's two wives to start running mad because they wanted to kick my grandmother out of the village because of witchcraft. So when I came to the part where I narrated the same story to the pastor, when I said that my grandmother, whenever she would get angry, she would say, by Ririth, you are going to find out. That was when the pastor stopped me and asked me if this Ririth, if it was a person that was still alive or one of our dead relative. He was so interested in that story. That was when I told him that I also did not understand what my grandmother meant whenever she would say, by Lilith, you are going to see what is going to happen to you. Then that was when the pastor told me that this was a demonic entity that controls witchcraft. That was when I started to understand that, oh, so my grandmother, since she was a very powerful witch, she knew some things that even right now, if you ask a witch, or if you tell a witch right now that, do you know that yours is a religion, and in that religion you worship that demonic entity that they call Lilith in Shona, Ririth, and that person won't even understand what you are talking about. So I gave my life to Christ after I had a big fight with this other woman. So when I came here, I started working with my husband as well. So I just sell some stuff in the street, fruit and veggies. So usually we go to Mbare, the fruit and veggie marketplace here in Harare. And when I was there buying my stock, that was when this other woman started insulting me. And when we were insulting each other, the snake that was given to me by my grandmother, it came to me and it said, allow me to bite this woman so that she can die. So the snake that was given to me by my grandmother, it is a cobra, and I wanted this woman to be bitten by the snake, but since there were a lot of people that were watching us at the marketplace as we were fighting with each other, I knew that if something was going to happen to this woman there and there, then people were going to find out that I am a witch. So I said, let me wait until it is time, and at night I am going to visit this woman. She thinks she is very clever. I even asked her, do you know who I am? And she was like, I don't even care whether you are the president's daughter. I really do not even care. And I said, you are going to find out. Late at night, that was when I woke up. I knew where this woman stayed in the spirit. I knew that already. When I woke up late at night, when I went out of the gate, that was when I saw the ghost of a man. So when I saw this ghost, I just thought that maybe it was just a wandering spirit, and knowing very well that a wandering spirit will never fight with a witch. And I was getting ready to go on my own, and I did not even call my friends because I thought that this woman who had insulted me at the marketplace, she was someone that had no powers at all. I was going to have a party at her house, bewitching her, and this wandering spirit came to me and we started fighting. We fought throughout the night, and I woke up. It was somewhere around 8 a.m. when I woke up. We fought, me and that wandering spirit. Even the snake tried to assist me, but this wandering spirit, it was too powerful for me, so it held me until it was in the morning. That was when it disappeared. I was shocked to wake up and to find out that it was so late. I then told my friends that this was what had happened. There was this other woman that I had met at the marketplace, and this woman, when I tried to go to her house, that was when I met a wandering spirit that fought with me. And as for that wandering spirit, even my snake was unable to deliver me from that wandering spirit. So the next morning, me and my friends, we prepared. We took the nest of a bird, and that is what we used as transport, flying from Glenora, and we went to Chitungwiza. When we were approaching that woman's house, that was when we saw two angels, and there was something about these two angels. They were prepared for war. They knew that we were coming, and they had big knives that were like burning flames, and we were too scared to confront them because they seemed so powerful. We ran away from that woman's house and we returned back to Glenora. So when we returned back to Glenora, I kept on thinking about what had happened. This woman, she seemed like she was not a Christian, but yet she was guarded by angels. And my grandmother had told me that the God of witchcraft is much more powerful than the Christian God. So why is it we had seen those angels that seemed so powerful, so much powerful that even our own topologies, they ran away, and we also ran away because we knew that we could have never won a fight with those two angels. And I kept on thinking about this, and that is how I started repenting in my heart. When I started doubting the goddess of witchcraft, that is when I started giving my life to Christ. I then finally decided that I did not want to become a witch anymore. When I found out that I was serving a god or a goddess that was not so powerful, that was when I went to church and I gave my life to Christ. But growing up, life was not easy. And that is another reason as to why I chose to give my life to Christ, because I grew up in a home that was filled with poverty. We had nothing. Most of the times we would go to bed hungry. So I kept on asking myself, what is the purpose of witchcraft when you are poor like this? My grandmother in the province from where I come from was like a queen in that province. we were supposed to enjoy life, but there were many days when we would go to bed hungry without food at home. So my grandmother told me that witchcraft was never about making money, but it is just about bewitching other people. And there were times when the chief would send his people with groceries to our house, because my grandmother, after she had fought with the chief then said to my grandmother, I am going to allow you to stay in my village, and you are going to fight against my enemies. So if the chief wanted someone to have misfortunes in their lives, then the chief will send my grandmother, and my grandmother will bewitch that person. My grandmother had been kicked out of the village. This was when I was still very young, when my grandmother was kicked out of the village. My grandmother later narrated the story to me and told me that after she had been caught bewitching another person, that was when the people from the village said that they did not want to see her anymore in the village. So my grandmother then said to me, my grandmother told the chief that if he was going to fight against her, his family was going to suffer. The chief thought that maybe she was joking, but the chief's children died one by one. And when the chief saw that his two wives, they were now running mad, that was when in secret he came to my grandmother and spoke with my grandmother. And my grandmother, after that, she became a big traditional healer in our province. She was a queen, yet we were suffering in poverty. So I always had that in my mind, that it does not make sense that you are a queen and you control a lot of witches in your province, but yet you are so poor like that. When I was 19, I started dating a lot of men, and I would give those men love potions, whether they were married or not. The day when my grandmother initiated me into witchcraft, she took me to the graveyards. When she took me to the graveyard, we had slaughtered a goat just before sunset, and she started to bath me with the blood, and she then smeared the goat blood underneath my breast, and she said that you are going to give birth to a snake, and this snake is going to be your child. She gave me a small stick, and I went to bed and I placed that small stick underneath my pillow. In the morning, I saw a little cobra, and I was not even afraid of it. I picked it up and I made it to suck from my nipples, and it started growing. And when I came to Harare with my husband, that was when I met a satanic man, and me and this man, we started dating each other. Even though I was married, I had given my husband a love potion, and I knew that I could do whatever that I wanted to do. So me and this man, we would cause several accidents. We caused 3 accidents in Blawayo, Masvingo, and Harare. But I am not someone who loves to see blood being spilled, especially when I was not possessed. I would feel sorry for people, and this man then said that I was not the right partner for him. So this is what has brought me here, Brother Nashi. If you think that you are being bewitched by someone, so as a witch, this is what we used to do. If we want you to have bad luck in your life, I would come and I would sleep with you if you were a man, and if you were a woman, I would find a man who is a witch who would come and sleep with you, and you will be having a dream, having intercourse with someone that you love. So this will give you bad luck, and other wandering spirits, they can come and possess you because your body will be dirty. So if you think that you are a spiritual wife or you are a spiritual husband to a tokoloshi or another spirit or a demon, this is what you need to do every morning. Before you do anything else, when you wake up, boil water, and then you take a lemon. If you are in a place where you can't find lemons, just buy vinegar. So you boil your water. So after you would have boiled the water, leave it so that it can be warm just a little bit. Add a pinch of coarse salt. Rock salt is much more better. Or you take the lemon or add a teaspoon of vinegar. Mind you, you can end up vomiting. And vomiting, it is good because the food that the witches would have given you at night, that food will also come out. This is what gives you bad luck. So after you would have drank the water, what you need to do is you need to declare. And when you are declaring, you say that I am a child of God. Any hand that is stretched towards me at night, may it be destroyed by God. Any person that has whispered evil curses against my name, may those curses return back to that person. For my body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit is like fire. I walk with fire, and I am surrounded by fire, and I am not a host to curses, spirits, or demonic entities. May the Lord protect me. So you need to do this until you stop having those sexual dreams. And if you want, before you go to bed, this is what you are supposed to do. Take ashes, and then you just sprinkle them on your door. And when you will have sprinkled those ashes on your door, this will stop the witches from ever entering into your house. And you need also to take salt, coarse salt, and you put the salt in each corner of your bedroom. And I am going to come back and I will tell you why it is so important to put this salt in each and every corner of your bedroom. There is a reason. There were things that we used to do, and I want you to also put the salt in each and every corner of the bedroom, the room which you sleep in. If you can mix it with garlic, and this is going to chase away the witches, the bad spirits that come to attack you, to sleep with you at night. As for my husband, the man that I got married to, I also bewitched him. I gave him a love potion. When we started staying in Harare, I also started dating the landlord. And this man, I would sleep with him sometimes late at night when he was fast asleep, and he would have these sexual dreams. And this is how I bewitched his wife. So I would wake up and I would go and visit them in their bedroom, but this would happen in the spirit world. When I would enter into their bedroom, I would get on top of the man and I would start to sleep with him until he would have produced his semen inside of me. Then my snake, if it happened that the landlord's wife was sleeping on her stomach or on the side, then the snake will roll her over, and I would go and I would kneel down and I would place her face between my legs and I would push the semen into her mouth. This is how I bewitched her. And it is very important to do the things that I have told you to do. You always said, Brother Nashi, that you wanted witches to come and confess to you. There, I have given you a witchcraft testimony. When you post, you will tell me. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. If you are going to follow those steps that she just told us, please do come. If you have a testimony, please do come back with a testimony if good things start to happen to you. Then there is another message that was sent to me by one man who is saying that he is called Tebuho, who is saying that he is a Bolt driver. He listened to the confession that I posted on TikTok, and he is saying that he used to drive a Bolt car for this other Nigerian guy. That was the first Bolt car that he drove, and he said that this Nigerian guy only had 2 cars. So there was one time when the Nigerian guy called him and another guy, He said he used to call this guy just Mukotsi, but he was from Zim. They went there with John, and when they went there, that was when the Nigerian guy told them that he had some oil that he had brought with him from Nigeria. So each and every time when they would go and pick up a person that would have requested for a trip, they would take those small bottles of oil that the Nigerian guy had given to them, who was their boss, and they will just put that oil a little bit on the back seat as well as at the front seat, just in case if the person will sit at the front seat. They did this, he said, for 2 months, and by the end of those 2 months, he's saying that this Nigerian guy, he had became a millionaire, and he sold those bolt cars to them. So Tebugo is saying that after he had finished working for this bolt car, because they did a rent to buy from that Nigerian, he crashed that car and it was beyond repair, and he feels as if he was robbed by that Nigerian guy. After he had crashed his car, then John, his friend, went back to Zim. He also crashed the car beyond repair, and as for John, he's a crippled guy right now. He can't even walk anymore because of the accident. So Tebuko is saying that he's still working as a Bolt driver, but this is what happened to him. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. If you have any confession that you wish to share with us, please do not hesitate to reach out to us.